So hi everyone, hope all is well and you've enjoyed your bank holiday weekend. I have, as you can see, I was out in my back garden planting. Really love doing that because that's something for me as a way of grounding my energy. I love being out with my hands fully in the muck. I know people out there are like, what? I love, muck under my fingernails. I love, because for me, it's a lovely way of grounding heart energy. There's lots of heart energy at the moment. So it's a lovely way for me to get rid of that energy, let it flow down my hands out into the soil and allow the plants to have it. And it's lovely when you have a few days in your garden and you know, a week later you see the joy of the lovely roses and the flowers all coming into full bloom when they're being minded and nurtured, and it's really good. And for me, I love being out in the garden because it's a time of meditation for me. While I'm out there, I spent one day I was out there for 8 hours something planting my little Zen garden. I'll show it to you when I have all of the plants all up and all the colour. So I've also been fasting, which because I've been in isolation and eating tons of bread and tons of cake and all of the lovelies that we do. I was like a bear in hibernation. I love baking, so I spent most of those 2 to 3 months eating, and I've skyrocketed to nearly 2 stone up. I'm loving my 5 necks and my lovely big chubby arms, but I've started fasting. I was talking about that last week on my Facebook Live, where I was saying about fasting. It was on my first day of fasting, that was last Wednesday. I did 22 hours. And now I didn't really feel that going by because I was very busy on that day, because that was my first day out in the garden. I was doing a lot of planting, and I was gone before I knew it. And I would love to be able to do a 24-hour fast or a 48-hour fast with just water, but I think my children wouldn't survive and my husband wouldn't survive if I did that. So I decided to actually eat after 22 hours on day one, and I've been very good. I've done 22 hours, 15 hours, 15, 15, 22, 16, and we're up to today where I am now doing a 15-hour fast. And basically all I'm doing is trying to basically have my dinner like 6 or 7 o'clock, and then I won't eat until the next day at 3 o'clock or whatever. They're my big fasts. And fasting is so good for your body. And really, to be honest, if it had been maybe 5 or 6 years ago, it would have been a totally different story, because I absolutely love my food, but I'm actually not really into food at the moment. I'm sort of going off food. And I think maybe that's because of the energy shift that's happening, that we're, moving from this dense, heavy 3D body, and we're moving to a lighter body, which moving from into the 5D, which causes our body to be much lighter. So like by watching movies and watching YouTube and stuff that's spiritual, and that raises your vibration, by going out, grounding your feet into the ground, that raises your vibration. Your body is lighter. You actually don't really need that much food, because you're being fueled by the energy that's coming down through source or up through your feet, through the crystalline grid, and that's fueling your body. And you don't need physical food. And I remember a long time ago when I was doing my Reiki Masters, my Auntie Ethel was saying, no, in my lifetime, we're not going to eat the food that we're eating. And I remember thinking, what? Because as an Irish person, whether it's because, the triggers of the famine, that we're going to starve to death, that we need to eat 3 meals a day, and those meals have to be plates that are piled high with spuds. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't even fathom that. But now I can actually see it, that if the Asians can eat a small little bowl of rice and some vegetables and a small amount of fish, and they survive, I can't understand why we can't survive. And I mean, the amount of diabetes, the amount of obese children, adults that we have in Ireland and America, the same. It's if we don't start to bring our food intake down, you know, we're looking at a totally different world in 50 years time. Everybody's going to have all sorts of problems. So, you know, I can definitely feel the difference in the shift of the energy and what it's doing for my body. So I have decided to do the fasting part of it to try and lighten the load, if you want to say that. So I'm doing that. My fasting is only water fasting, and I'm just drinking water all day long until I get to have my dinner. And I find it actually pretty easy. So you can always message me afterwards, and I'll give you my tips on it. But I would say, you know, lots of water, a little bit of lemon juice and water in the morning time, and then water for the day. And obviously the best water that you can get, you know, I've talked about water last week, about putting your water nighttime into the fridge and keeping that water so you can drink it the next day is always better than actually just drinking it straight from the tap. Allow the molecules to settle. So I'm enjoying it, and I've really I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to keep going with it even after when I get rid of losing all the pounds, the extra pounds that I put on. So that's one of the joys of the last few days. I've spent today, I watched a lot of videos. I had a conversation with my 11-year-old son the other day, who was telling me about this guy, this black dude, mom, who was beaten to death by these police guys. Oh, he was giving out to me about them. Oh, I won't tell you what word he called them, but for an 11-year-old, but he was really enraged for a little dude, right? And I didn't have a clue what he was talking about. And he said, Mom, he's on TikTok. He said, Mom, I saw it on TikTok. And I didn't have a clue who this guy was. And then over the coming days, you start to see it coming out on the news and across all social media about George Floyd, and this you know, Black Lives Matters, these posters, these riots, people going now protesting, doing all of this stuff that we watched now over the last few days. Now, I don't watch the television. I've not watched the television, but I see popping up on my social media when I'm on those, and to be honest, I didn't see the video, and I don't want to see the video because I don't want to hurt my heart to see that video, because I'm trying to raise my vibration at the moment. Because somebody stood there and videoed it is one of the things, and didn't step in. Or the amount of people, sometimes I see videos and I say, why was that person standing videoing it and actually not trying to help or trying to do something? But I didn't watch the video. But I know by my little fella's face when he was telling me that he hurt his heart too. And this has now sent a ripple across the world, and you can see it. Everybody is talking about it. George Floyd had a contract. He came here. And remember, what I'm going to talk about now is my perspective, is my truth, the way I see it to be. And I've always said this, all my learning and all of the years of what I've done and through my books and everlasting life, and I talk about the spirit is always going to live on, and that we choose to come here into the body that we're in. We choose all of the experience that we have. We sit with our guide before we incarnate down here into this physical body that we're in now. We choose all the experiences that we're going to have. We choose all the trials, the tribulations. We choose all of the hurts, everything that you think you don't want to go through. We choose all of those things. Remember, thousands of years ago, all of these billions of souls that have come here to this earth have come here with a contract, knowing that they're going to raise the vibration of Mother Earth. They're going to move Mother Earth from a 3D shifting into a 5D earth. And we knew that before we came in here. And gradually, as we've gone through each lifetime we've come in, we've risen and risen and risen, and we're raising our spiritual evolution up till it's gotten to this point. So we chose in every single experience that we've had coming into each incarnation of the human experience that we've come into. So I chose all of mine. I know that Hitler chose his. I know that George Floyd, chose his experiences and what he had to go through. I know people out there will say, oh, why would you want to choose cancer? Why would you want to choose to come into a body that is deformed? Why would you want to come in to have a parent that's murdered? Why would you want to come in to have a parent that dies young? If you can understand it from a different perspective, stepping out of your body and looking in on it, looking at it like it's a play, and you are this person that's standing on this stage having this experience, and all of the trials and tribulations and things that's happening and the people that are in your life are waiting in the wings, coming in to play a role in this play that you're in, and they're going to walk out and then they're going to come back in scene 7 and they're going to play another part in this play and they're going to walk out. And this play that you're in is the play that you're the producer, the screenwriter, the director. You're playing the part in this play. So George Floyd has played a part in this play of Earth and the shifting that's happening. He's also playing his own role in this, his own role in his life and what he had to go through. He chose to have this experience happen to him. I know this might sound the cruelest thing ever, and it might not resonate with people out there, but he chose to come into that body as a spiritual warrior that was going to die in the way that he died, to have that experience. So it was going to send a shockwave, a ripple effect through the whole world at this moment in time. We've just gone through the coronavirus. We've just gone through the pandemic. We're still in the midst of all of that stuff that's still going on. So we've had one shift already of physical purging, right? Now we're having this other shift of all this other stuff that's coming up. And people like George, people who have been, people, the Me Too movement, all of the women who have gone through sexual abuse, the women have gone through being raped, there's a massive big purging that's coming out. That was a massive shift that happened last year and the year before. All that stuff is being purged and brought up to the surface. So it has to bubble up and be let go of. The earth is not going to hold that anymore because it's raising the vibration of from a 3D to a 5D. It doesn't want to hold that negative energy anymore. So it's purging up and purging out. It has to come up and come out. It's like trying to explain it to you in the way of going to the gym. You feel fabulous going into the gym. You get on your bike, you go and do your bits. You come out after 2 hours, you feel great. And then within 2 days, your body aches because now your body is purging all of the toxins out of the cells, right? It's the exact same thing on a bigger scale here. The body is purging now, physically purging, our bodies are purging, and the earth is purging. And in order for the earth to purge, it's got to shift consciousness with it. And by having experiences like what George had to go through, it's shifting the collective. It's actually shifting the collective. And what's happening is there's people out there who want to go out and protest. And if you want to go out there and protest, there's absolutely no reason why you can't go out and protest. Obviously, you know, I'm watching videos of what happened yesterday in Dublin where people were out protesting, but an amount of 5,000 people or whatever was in Dublin City yesterday protesting. Not one person did I see doing in the video that I saw, social distancing. You know, remember we're supposedly in the midst of this, still this pandemic where all of our people who are ill, people who are low immunity, like my own son, the older people in our families who are still at risk here. Did you think for 1 minute about them when you were out with your placard out there? Probably not. And I know that you want to go out there and you want to protest. There's no reason why you can't come on Facebook, come on your social media and protest and give your message out that way instead of physically being there. We see in America where there are massive protests and it's causing riots, where it means, you know, there's people who are there who are in the midst of this peaceful protest, and there's other people in the back who have a total different agenda and throwing bottles to cause riots. And there's people who are in the midst of that's going to, you know, make a peaceful protest turn into something totally different, and people are going to get even more hurt, right? So I understand why George Floyd had to go through that. I totally get the experience that he came here to have and the ripple effect that he was going to send out around the world. But for us, we need to step back, look at it from a different perspective. I did a meditation this morning where Archangel Samuel came in. And I normally never see him. It's always Archangel Michael if it's any of the angels that come in. But he came in so strongly, beautiful blonde hair, green eyes. He's wearing his purple pink robe. He had a heart in his hand. And I said, who are you? He told me his name was Samuel, and he said, I am here to assist the earth at this moment of ascension. He said, I hold its heart because I want you to look at it from a heart perspective. Try to look at the situations that are happening, the negative situations that are happening, and try to look at it from the heart perspective. Try to have kindness, compassion, love, empathy, serenity when you're looking at situations that may be dark, right? And I know you're right. How could I look at a man being murdered like that and have serenity and love and compassion and kindness, right? How can you do that? But there's no point in standing there and causing even more hate and causing more evil in the world. We don't need that anymore. Black lives matter, yes. All lives matter, yes. All of us have this blood running through our veins underneath this skin, whatever colour it is, right? I grew up in Ireland when, 40 odd years ago, when there was very little of my colour around. I faced it. The red-headed kid faced it. The kid with the glasses faced it. The kid with the goofy teeth faced it. The fat kid faced it. We've all faced it in some way, shape or form in our life. We've all gone through trials, traumas, tribulations. We've all done it. But do you use hatred for the rest of your life and let it eat you up? No. It's not going to be for me. I'm not going to allow it eat me up. I want to raise my vibration now. I want to try to be a pillar of light, to try to show you out there that if you use this time and send love, send healing, send compassion, empathy to those situations, especially if we're in Ireland. I'm talking to especially my Irish audience. We're in Ireland. We can't really do anything as such that's going to, all the social media or the influencers out there who can put it up on their pages and talk about it in a way of giving their perspective and their piece of whatever way they want to say it. If they want to protest and say, yeah, Black Lives Matter, yes, go ahead. If you want to say all lives matter, yes, go ahead. If you don't want to say anything, you just want to say, you know what, I'm going to send love. I'm going to send light to this. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to serve us. I remember a video a long time ago where I saw this man who had shot and killed this other guy, and the mother of the guy who he shot and killed, as he was being sent down for whatever amount of years in prison, his mother got up and said, can I go and give him a hug? I want to hug him. I want to forgive him. I want to give him love because I know he's hurting. I know his family are hurting, and I don't want to cause any more hurt in this world. And I want to get up and hug him because I don't want it to eat me up. And, I know that maybe George Floyd's parents and George Floyd's family are not going to be very kind and compassionate and feeling very loving at the moment because they're in the midst of the emotion of just what's happened and, the injustices that happened. And, thank God there was somebody there to be able to video it and to be able to send it out around the world, because he's one of the injustices in the world that's, we've seen. And now that we've seen it, it can't be unseen. We can't say that it's not happening. We can't say that, these things are not happening in the world. We can't say that also the other negatives in the world are not happening. We're seeing it. We're seeing it over the last 3 months of having the pandemic, having the stuff about the vaccines, having the stuff about the deep state and all of the stuff that will come up and purge up out, all the child trafficking, all the paedophilia rings, all of this stuff is all going to come up to the surface. Yes, it is going to come up, and we're going to have to deal with it. We can look at it and we can let it hurt our hearts, or we can step back, take a breath, look at it from a heart perspective. Look at it as if we're the referee, and look at it from the two sides of it, and not allow it to eat us up. Because I've seen so many videos of people talking about it, and you can see the hatred in them for what has happened to this guy. The hatred towards the perpetrators or the people who caused this Is that going to be any good for their bodies? Is that going to be any good for the energy within them? No, not at this time. This time is a time of a great shift that's happening, moving. It is very rare that it happens that a physical planet is going to shift its energy from 3D to 5D at this one time that's happening on this earth, right? It's very rare that it happens that we as humans are coming in here and in this physical body that we're in now, we're going to shift from a 3D to a 5D, and we need to shift that and purge that energy out, and we need to do it as easy as possible. We're not going to do it easy if we're going to hold it and go, oh, have hatred towards that person, and anger and all of the jealousy and all of the horrible sides of the spectrum that come on the fear side. We're not going to shift the way we should be shifting. Yes, the earth has to purge its energy. Mother Earth is purging itself at the moment. We see that. The physical body is purging itself at the moment. We feel that in our bodies. We're now physically watching what's happening all around the world. They showed that to me in a meditation last week where they said there's hot spots. I call them hot spots. I don't want to say negative dark spots that's in, but there's so many pillars of light standing around it, holding this, anchoring down this energy. So this negative energy that's in these hot spots knows it's being seen, knows that it's going to have to come up and it's going to run, and it's going to have to come up and purge out. And all we have to do as light workers is stand and hold the energy. I didn't come here to protest. I wasn't going to be out there protesting with a placard. I don't need to do that. I can speak my truth here. It's not going to serve me standing outside with a placard protesting. It's going to serve me more as the light worker that I am and the way shower that I am to send energy to that guy's family, to send energy to him and helping him cross over and transition, sending energy to America into all of the injustices that are happening all over America at the moment, send energy to all of the places in the world. And if you can just visualize, I always say this to my Reiki clients when I'm doing a Reiki course, visualize the globe in front of you, visualize with your hands the golden energy coming from your heart, flowing out of your hand and going around the earth. And the earth knows where to put that energy that you're sending in with your intention of your heart. It knows where to go. It's like the energy in the body as the energy is coming down through source, from source down through your chakra system, through your energy centers. It knows where the imbalances is in your physical body. The same happens with Mother Earth. She knows where the imbalances are. And if you send the golden energy out of your hands to those places where the injustices, just send it to the globe in itself or earth in itself. The globe or earth and Mother Earth knows where to send that energy that you're sending. Your intention of the heart, it knows where to send it, and it will go to where the biggest imbalances are. That's our job to do at the moment, because yes, there are people who came down here in their contract. They came here to be protesters, and that's okay. If you want to protest and you want to go out there and protest, absolutely go ahead and protest. If you want to use your voice and use your social media platforms or whatever it is, especially if you're somebody who is an influencer, who has a lot of people following them, try not to push hatred. Try not to do it in a negative way. Silently protesting is amazing. Peacefully protesting. I did see that a lot of people were peacefully protesting in America, and I know that it went tits up because there was other people at the back of the protests who were there with a different agenda, right? But people around the world knew that those people went there with to peacefully protest, just to protest about what they seen as an injustice that was happening, and that's absolutely okay. But I wouldn't be going out protesting and throwing bottles and causing more havoc and more anxiety, more stress, more fears that's already being purged in this world. I wouldn't be doing that, and I wouldn't recommend it for you to be doing that. What Archangel Chamuel said was, send love from the heart. See it coming out of your heart, this golden energy, and visualize it going to those places. We're going to see a lot more of this in the next couple of months. 2021 is going to be a totally different year to 2020. It's this is the biggest purge where Earth has ever seen. We're going to get layers upon layers upon layers of stuff coming out. And what I would say to you is, especially at this time, while the energy is shifting, I would say to you, try your best to do your grounding, especially as you're feeling this energy coming off the television, hearing it coming from all different groups that you're in. Get rid of it. As you hear it coming in, allow it to come in, see it from a different perspective, and allow it to flow out if it's through your grounding exercises, because it's going to do you no good feeling that energy in your body. So if I can say one thing to you, you know, I did say at the start when we came into isolation, try not to turn on the TV. So much fake news out there. There's so much, you know, fears being pushed down through our TVs, through all of our social media outlets and, you know, radios, and it's not good for you at this moment while you're trying to go through this shift. And it's a purging that's happening. It's happening whether we like it or not. Mother Earth is purging, and so are we. And the best way to deal with it, and it's not saying that you're turning a blind eye and you're looking away from it, because, you know, you can have your say, but I would say send golden light to the energy, send golden light to the spaces, the places where these things are happening. It's happening wherever it is in the world, China, Russia, America. Send your light to it, and by sending your light to it, you shift it, shifting the negative out, and the negative will purge out much quicker than it will. They showed it to me with the meditation I did the other day, when they said about the global meditation. I did a meditation back in 444 global meditations on my YouTube channel, and they said it's going to shift consciousness. It's going to shift consciousness, and the Schumann resonance in the earth shifted by people meditating. It changed the energy in the earth by people meditating. It changed it for the better instead of changing it for the bad part of it, because you want to change it that it's raising the frequency, then bringing down the frequency, and protesting and shouting and hatred, and, you know, this is going to do us no good. We need to try and get through this shifting and this purging as quickly as we can. So I wasn't on my Instagram today. I didn't post anything about Black Tuesday or any of that. I do totally understand why people did that, and it wasn't that I wasn't watching what was going on. I did see it, and I tried to step out of it and not allow myself to bring my vibration down by hurting my heart by watching it. So I sent the golden light to George Floyd's family. I sent the golden light to the police officers that did it and their families, because what they're going through. I know people might not think that's very nice of me to do that, but, you know, I say send love to them all, because we all need it. Everybody has experiences and trials and tribulations that go on in their life. Sometimes it's caused by somebody in their family, and it wasn't their fault, but it's because of somebody in their family, and they have to go through the repercussions of what comes afterwards. So I sent it to his family, their families, as well as the earth and America and where it happened, because the crystalline grid also needs it in that space. And I tried to put positive into it, then putting negative in it. So that's my truth. I'm going to leave that with you. As I said, if it doesn't resonate with you, you can always you know, move on and go on to a different video. I believe it to be, you know, my perspective on it is that George Floyd is an amazing spiritual warrior that came here to cause a shift. He came here to be the pebble that dropped into that pond that was going to send a ripple all over the world. And what an amazing spiritual warrior he was, to die in the way he died, by dying that's such a horrible way. But I've sent the light to his spirit for him to transition. And I know that he was met by his guides over there, and his guides patted him on the back and said, amazing job. Look what is going to come out of this. I know it looks dark at the moment. I know it looks like there's a bit of anarchy and riots and all of the negatives, but you wait and see what's going to come after this. So leaving that with you. Blessings and love and light to you all. Namaste.